So recently I hit 20,000 subscribers, which I was pretty stoked about. So I wanted to do a nice fun giveaway and a nice video to celebrate this. I wanted to do something a little bit bigger than normal. Like obviously not Mr. Beast big, but a bit bigger than my normal video. So I decided I was going to create 20 purses for 20,000 subscribers, and I was going to sew all these purses as well. And I didn't make it easy on myself because I decided to create my own pattern and make it quite difficult. So instead of taking 2 days, of which it probably should have, it took me 6 days to create all of these purses. And I gotta say, it was a rough 6 days. So I have been cutting for 3 hours now, and I'm still not done cutting all the pieces. This is going to take a while. I think this is going to be probably a 4 or 5 day project, and I am a little bit over my head with this, but I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to quit. I'm going to finish this because I set out a goal to make 20 purses, and that's what I'm going to do. So I have to finish cutting out all of this fabric here. You can see I'm just like kind of laying it all down, but I gotta finish doing that. I'm hoping to get it all cut and ready so tomorrow I can just start sewing and going at it. But I am missing some liner fabric because apparently I didn't shop for any, so I need to go get some liner fabric from the thrift store. So hopefully I'll be lucky tonight and actually find some good fabric. And then I also need a couple more zippers. I prefer to buy things secondhand when it comes to sewing, so I'm gonna check the thrift store, and then worst case I gotta go to the fabric store again tomorrow. But before I made my way over to the thrift store, obviously I had to get a snack because you gotta be fueled up when you're sewing. So I went to my typical place and got my burrito that I probably eat a few times a week, and I know it's not very good. But anyways, now that my stomach is all full, we can finally go shopping for some fabric. Finally found one liner, just a plain white one. This will go with majority of the stuff. So I just feel like I need more than one color, white and maybe a black or an ivory at the next Value Village. And I'm just looking through the fabrics. I found this one, which I thought was really cool, but I'm just wondering if it's like too childish. Not really sure, but I did find these two fabrics for liners, which I really love, so that was a success in the liners, but I'm still looking through all this fabric. And for the rest of the night, I pretty much just cut fabric. It was a very uneventful night. I watched TV while I actually... Benson, you're interrupting my voiceovers.
Oh my god! What?
Yeah, I got really into that show. That's probably why it took me so long, but on to the next day. Well, I'm still cutting after like 6 hours of cutting fabric yesterday. I'm still not done because I didn't cut any of the liners yet, so I got a lot of work ahead of me still. So I have a few different types of liners that I found at the thrift store yesterday. Got them washed so they are ready to go. So I'm just gonna start cutting. I don't really know which colors I want to use for each one, so I'm just gonna cut out a whole bunch of them. Luckily I only have to cut out these two patterns here, so it's a little bit less work than doing the whole outside of it, but it's still a lot of work. Like my hand is pretty sore from yesterday. So I'm using some interfacing for the fabric that is a bit thinner, but for my fabric that is a little bit more thicker and stiffer, I am not using interfacing. So for the most part, I have pretty much all the bags, the patterns all cut out. That being said, I should have done, a test, run of one bag before I cut out like 15 bags, but I didn't. I'm gonna be doing that test run right now. I'm gonna be doing it with this one right there, and I'm gonna treat it kind of like a game show almost, where I'm gonna time myself and see how fast I can do it. I'm hoping I do it under an hour because technically if I do it over an hour, it's gonna be 20 plus hours of sewing bags. I'm hoping I can do this fairly quickly. I'm just gonna like get into it, just get my head down and really focus on this and see how fast I can crank this bag out. And I'm also hoping that the pattern's okay because I made this pattern and I did not test it before cutting everything out. So it could be a disaster if this doesn't work out. So let's cross our fingers I do this under an hour and the pattern's decent. Oh, it's already been 30 minutes and I haven't even started sewing yet. Oh no. So I just wanted to take a quick break and show you what I was up to. So this first draft is looking terrible, I know, because I was thinking that I wanted to sew the front to the actual liner with the interfacing in between. So that would have worked if I used a basting stitch, but I didn't, so I did it this way. I did some experimenting. I needed a double-sided interfacing, which I do not have. So luckily I have this double-sided kind of tape that you use the iron to put on, and look at this one. It looks beautiful. It looks like it's like a double-sided interfacing. So this is like a good hack if you don't have double-sided interfacing and you're trying to make this bag. Or you could hand sew a basting stitch, but you know, whatever floats your boat. I did this because it was faster, but I wouldn't say this is the professional way to do it. I just got this from Walmart. It is just double-sided like hemming tape. So this is what I'm going to do for all of them, because if I started sewing them all like this, the bags would turn out terrible. But anyways, I'm going to get back to snacking and sewing. I don't know if I should laugh or cry at this point, to be honest. I have some good news and some bad news. Good news is I finished the purse and I think it's adorable. The bad news is it took me almost 3.5 hours to make. Technically, if I stayed on this pace, I'd be here for weeks finishing these purses. So I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. With that being said, I ended up figuring it out, and I just ended up getting all of the pieces all ready to sew so I could have all the pieces all ironed, and then I could get on the sewing machine and just sew away instead of going back and forth. But here I am just ironing on the interfacing for this fabric, but you don't really have to, and then I'm ironing on the liner with the tape in between. I'm finally done getting everything ready, so I'm just gonna start cranking out as many purses as I can right now. It's like 5:15, so I'm gonna probably work at this maybe for like 2-3 hours, then eat dinner, and then continue, I guess. I don't know, I feel like I'm gonna be doing this all night. And yes, I was doing it all night long until I felt like I needed a break from sewing and I needed to get out of the house for the first time that day, and I made my way over to the magical place we all call Walmart. We gotta go get some buttons and some bias tape and all that fun jazz that I don't have. These two colors are pretty. I also need a black one. Do they have this? Is this black or is this like a gray? Oh my gosh, look at this shirt. $12. I am stocked up now with bias tape. I hope this is enough. Man, I look homeless today. Jeez. And as you can see, it is very dark out, so my filming setup would be terrible, so we don't want to see that. So let's just fast forward to day 3. It is day 3 now, and we're going to start the day off by going to the fabric store, somewhere new. I ended up finding this really pretty satin champagne bias tape. So in the moment, I thought it'd be kind of fun to show you like almost like a fabric haul, like a thrift haul, but to be honest, no one cares about bias tape or cording, so let's just skip this. So obviously we are back at home now, and I am just pinning and sewing. This is what I did for 6 days. It's really uneventful, so I'm not going to bore you with all the footage of me just sewing on my sewing machine, so let's just go to something a little bit exciting. So the first bag of the day is somewhat done. It's missing its handle, obviously, and it's not finished, but I just wanted to show you what it looked like because I ended up using the piping that I purchased this morning, the satin kind of champagne one. I think it looks really good. It's something different, so I'm definitely gonna use it on a couple more bags, but yeah, that's all I really had to say. I just wanted to show you what the bag looked like because I think it looks pretty good. Day 4 of this magnificent journey of creating 20 purses, and I gotta say, I'm not really near the finish line yet. Not yet. Hopefully after today I'm a little bit closer. I'm getting close to sewing all the bag portion of the purse, so that's a good sign. That's a good sign. So I'm hoping I'm a lot closer by the end of the day today because I would like to do something next week. Let's begin the sewing. And now I'm gonna get into my mini tutorial on how to make one of these bags just in case you wanted to. So I'm gonna link down the pattern that I created down in the description if you want to. So after you cut that out, put the lining together, you're gonna pin the side of the bag to the front of the bag. Remember, right sides together. So once you have that all pinned, you're gonna take it to the sewing machine for step 2, and you are just gonna sew it down the edge. This part is a little tricky just because it's not flat pieces you're sewing together. One's going to be very curved, so you might have the seam rip, you might have to do it a few times just to get the hang of it, but eventually it should work out. And then it should look somewhat like a bag. Say if you were to flip it inside out like this, it will be half a bag, and then you're going to take your other piece here and you're going to do the exact same thing, except this part is a little bit more trickier because you have a full bag to kind of work with. But again, you're going to pin the right sides together and sew all the way along, and then you're going to get your full bag. So here is just me demonstrating what I just said. So you have it pinned just like that, and then you're gonna go to your sewing machine and you're gonna sew it just like you did on the other side. Except this is a little bit trickier because there's a lot more fabric, so it's a little bit harder, but I believe in you. I believe in you. You can do it if you want to. If you don't want it to, you can try to win one at the end. So I actually thrifted this fabric from the thrift store, and it wasn't actually just plain fabric, it was actually an apron, so this purse kind of smells like flour still. Yeah, and like cookies. So some of my bags are made from clothes, so I actually took the patches from the clothes and then I just sewed it onto the bag. Wow, this one looks so good so far. This one's my favorite one so far. This one definitely is my favorite one. I know this doesn't look like much right here, but this is 20 bags of, or incomplete bags. 20 incomplete bags. Now we're back to the tutorial of how to make your own purse. So now that we have the bag portion, we're going to do the strap. So you're going to take that long piece of fabric that you cut out and you're going to pin together the right sides after you ironed it, of course. But I have to do 20, so we can watch me do 20 of these bags, or maybe not all, but I had a lot to do, but you can see how I do them because I don't know, I just have this footage here and I think you might find it interesting to see how I did 20 of them. But anyways, step 4. So now we're gonna go onto the sewing machine. You're gonna take your strap and you're gonna do a straight stitch down the side, kind of like the top of the hot dog, because it's like folded like a hot dog. So the top of the hot dog where it's open, you're gonna sew down that side. And then once you're done that, you're gonna flip it inside out and you're gonna do 2 top stitches so it looks like this. Sorry, that was kind of fast. So I have all the straps done now, which means I can start working on the bags, which I'm so excited about. I'm just so excited to finally finish this project. So let's begin the bags and finish this project. I don't know why that was so slow. That was kind of a weird one, but let's begin. I finally have more than one bag finished, which I am so excited about. I'm getting close to finally being able to hold 20 handmade purses in my hand, and I gotta say, it feels really good. I haven't had much sleep. As you can see, I think I'm wearing the same shirt that I wore yesterday. I know I went to bed with this on yesterday and I still been taking it off, and I also have like the spandex shorts on. You can just see, haven't showered in a few days, that this project has really consumed my whole life, and I would really like to finish this 20 bag adventure of creating them on my sewing machine. That didn't really make sense at all, but you get what I mean. I want to finish this project today. It is Sunday. I want to start the week off tomorrow with this project completely done. So I'm just gonna go hard for the rest of the day and just try to finish these bags because I just don't really feel like sewing purses anymore. I'd rather just sew something new. It gets kind of repetitive after sewing for 5 days the same item. So I'm excited to finish and move on to my next project. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm excited just to not sew any more bags. Oh, I'm so angry. I just went to 2 thrift stores and they had this many buttons there, which I am shocked. How do you go to the thrift store and not find buttons? I feel like that's like the #1 thing you should find at the thrift store. So that being said, I can't finish my bags until I have buttons. So now I have to go to plan B of looking on the internet and seeing if I can find some buttons there, because I need buttons to finish this project, and particularly I need 19 buttons to finish this project.
I'm getting so close to finishing this project, and you can see my room is an absolute mess from this project. But if we go over here, hi Benson. If we go over here, we can see all the purses that I am done. I am done 11 now, which is amazing. We are over halfway. These are the good ones on this side of the door, and these are my okay ones. These are ones that I won't be giving away. These ones are ones that I will be. So I'm already at 5 over here, which is amazing. This one is my favorite. That one turned out so cool, and I also really like this one. I made this one from a jacket, and then I actually made this one from a kid's jacket that I thrifted. Everything's thrifted. It's either made from clothes or thrifted fabric. But I'm just gonna take a break, and then I'm gonna finish all these bags later, and then finally share with you guys how to finish your bag, because I know I've just been like dragging that part off, but we'll get to it, don't worry.
So I wanted to try one more thrift store before I went to the World Wide Web and tried to find vintage buttons online. So I made my way over to the last thrift store and I had success. Finally, we have success. We found buttons and there's actually a few to choose from. Look at this. So I had to figure out what bundle has the best set of buttons. This one has some like gold ones in there. I prefer to get some bigger buttons for it. Oh, that's a cool one. That one's cool too. Okay, finally after 3 thrift stores, we finally found some buttons. So let me decide. But there's also a lot of really good stuff here. Like, look at this huge bundle of thread here. That's incredible. Like, even look at this. I will never need white thread ever again if I bought this. Okay, so let's get back to the bag making. So step 5, we're gonna be doing some bias tape on the inside seams. So what I am doing is I am just trimming up the seams just so they're nice and clean before I put the bias tape on. And for the bias tape, I'm actually not doing it this way, but you should, I recommend. So when you open up the bias tape, you'll see a small flap and you're gonna wanna pin that down and then do a straight stitch all the way around. But for me, I'm doing the lazy way out because I am trying to save time, and I just folded the bias tape around the seam and then I just sewed it all the way around, and this saved me some time because I had to do 20 bags and you're probably only doing 1, maybe 2, so you can afford that extra time. And then once you're done that, you do that on the other side of the bag. Cover up all the seams inside so it looks nice and clean inside the bag. So now we're going to be doing step 6, and this is where we're going to be doing the bias tape at the top of the purse, you know, to clean it up. So I'm taking some smaller bias tape and I'm doing it completely right this time, where I'm sewing the top flap to the bag first before we flip it over and do a top stitch. So after that, you're also want to flip it over, you want to pin it and just clip it down, just because it's a lot easier to do the top stitch if you do it that way. And then obviously I'm just doing a nice clean top stitch because this is what you're actually going to be seeing, and then this is how the bag looks before we add the straps. And now for our final step, step 7, we are just adding the straps. So this is pretty straightforward. You're just sewing the strap on the bag. You're going to put it inside the bag so you don't see it, but you can just sew it to the bag. Just really straightforward. You can lift up the bias tape and sew it underneath so you don't see the stitching. You don't have to. You can just stitch it if you have a similar color thread. Really, whatever you want. Look at all the buttons I got today. I am just sorting them right now and going through and picking all the buttons I like the best. Here are just some of them. They're kind of like vintage ones, which is what I've been looking for, to try to find vintage buttons. And then over here, I am just playing around and seeing what buttons look good with each purse, which is actually really, really fun doing this. I might do like a couple buttons per purse, maybe a single one. I'm not really sure, but this is actually a really fun part. And finally, it is day 6, the last day of this crazy ride of sewing 20 purses. And I gotta say, it was pretty uneventful. I gotta say, you can see I look pretty rough. I have a hat on because I'm trying to cover up the greasy hair, because I don't even know if I showered during these 6 days. I know I showered the first day, but I don't remember if I showered again. It's just, you can just see I just look worse and worse each day because I didn't really do much else other than just sew bags. So I'm a little tired, but I'm glad I did it. I'm glad to show you how they turned out. So let's see the final results of all the bags.
Triple A, credits alright. Hang up the phone and let your heart break. Only in LA, 24 twice. She's on the phone, but she's staying on Wilshire Boulevard. Old dreams dying hard. He wants you to return his love. Breathing in the dark, weightless, working hard. He wants you to return his love. Now he's bleeding, diamonds on you, but that ain't enough to turn the page. He's kneeling, wants to feel known, but he's not the one who pulls away. That ain't enough to turn the page. Leash is off, suit is on point. Won't cause a scene or stir up no clash. On second thought, Venice by fourth. She's on the job, but she's staying on Wilshire Boulevard. Old dreams dying hard. He wants you to return his love. Breathing in the dark, weightless, working hard. He wants you to return his love. Now he's bleeding, diamonds on you, but that ain't enough to turn the page. He's kneeling, wants to feel.
It is now time to talk about the giveaway for this video because I have a lot of purses here and I definitely don't need 20 purses, so I'm gonna give away 5 purses to 5 people that enter this giveaway. And if you want to enter, here's how you can do so. So the first thing you got to do to enter this giveaway to win one of these 5 purses is you got to subscribe to my channel. Next, you got to like this video. Then after that, you got to follow my Instagram at Jenna Phipps. It'll also be linked down below in the description. And then fourth, you just got to comment down below with your Instagram handle because that is where I'm going to be announcing the winners. So unfortunately, you do have to have Instagram because that's the only way I can contact you. But other than the giveaway, I do want to say thank you to every single one of you who has subscribed to my channel. I would not have gotten to 20,000 subscribers without every single one of you. So thank you so much for following my journey and supporting me and subscribing to my channel. But as for the other 15 bags that I'm not giving away in this video, I will be doing more giveaways coming up this fall and I will be giving them all away in my upcoming videos. So if you don't win one in this video, keep watching my videos and maybe you'll win one in the future. But that is it. So I want to say thank you so much for watching today's video and I will see you in one of my future ones. Bye guys.